Good afternoon. I am Marcia Hawker, and we're here celebrating the silver anniversary of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And joining me right now in the green room, I am delighted to say, is Pastor Emmett Wheatfall of Remember the Hope Christian Fellowship, and as well as he is also a diversity manager. And to my immediate right is Dr. James Mason, Diversity Director for Providence Health Services. Welcome, gentlemen. So glad you could be with us this afternoon. And with diversity, that is a very challenging as well as gratifying field. And my question will be the same question to both of you. First to Dr. James Mason with Providence Health Services. As the Diversity Director, what are your challenges?
Well, my challenges are many. What's good for me is that I have a lot of resources to work with. Particularly what I'm doing now is making sure that we provide equal services to all of our customers. So diversity from a healthcare standpoint is assuring that everyone gets equitable care. People have different orientations around how they view health, how they view practitioners. So I have a pretty decent amount of work ahead of me, but I think we have the resources to get it done.
And that's very important. And Pastor Wheatfall, what are some of your challenges as a diversity manager?
Well, you know, I always start by saying that diversity is really, in a general sense, is valuing differences. In the workplace, I say to people all the time that the workplace is a microcosm of society. And so what I do in the workplace is help people manage diverse and competing interests. And the challenge is trying to get people who value diversity and workplaces that are beginning to value diversity to move beyond just the value proposition to practicum. How do we work together? How do we relate together? How do we come together in such a way that people are being serviced, that products are being put to market, that and in a way that people are actually coming together in a way that's cohesive. And that's a challenge, is moving people from awareness to practicum.
Yes, and the bottom line being the common denominator is to be respectful.
Correct.
And once you have embraced the importance of being respectful, that certainly helps to level the field.
Sure.
And because everybody wants to be respected, and we go back to what our Lord told us to do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Well, you know, the other side of that too is that foundational in democracy is this idea of equality. Well, once we're all understanding and relating that we're equal, how do we do that? And how do we do that in a way that we maintain that value proposition that's fundamental in democracy called equality?
Well, the other thing I would add to that is, and I think you're getting ready to say that, is that as we think about difference and we think about diversity, is making sure that we see what we have in common.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the major challenges around most diversity initiatives is that we stop around the difference. We see how we're different, and we attribute things to those differences, but we don't see what we have in common. And I think one of our major challenges as diversity proponents is getting people on the same page. And even though we might view health in different ways or view respect in different ways, we do have some commonalities amongst ourselves that we're often unaware of.
Boy, Dr. Mason, that's great. Absolutely, it's key.
Yes, I totally agree. Now, what does this day mean to you in reflecting on the legacy that he left, the example that he was for so many of us? What does it mean to you? I'll begin with you, Pastor Wheatfall.
You know, opportunity costs something. Most of the time, majority of the time, opportunity is not free. I think about all that our fathers and mothers and grandmothers, grandfathers went through, who scrubbed floors and watched kids and did it and kept their mouth closed and just did those so there would be food on our tables and so that they could educate us. And we are the byproducts of some people who actually literally did what Jesus said. No greater love hath any man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend. And when I look at this day, King's birthday, I know it's a national holiday, but I get up and go to work. Where I'm working at today, it's a holiday, so I don't have, but in previous jobs, I got up and went to work because those folks did so much for us to be able to um, represent the great values that this nation is supposed to be founded upon.
Yes, and would you like to add something
You know,
to
only thing
that?
I would say is, in agreement with Pastor Wheatfall, of course, is that King brings me great pride as an African American, and what he really brings me a lot of pride about is that he opened doors for a bunch of people, and that King belongs as a great American hero. When I think of the gains that we made as African Americans, but also the gains that accrued for women, people with disabilities, seniors, a number of different groups. So King, to me, gives me, like you say, you go to work, it fuels me to continue the work that I do.
Absolutely.
And when I realize how blessed I am in my life, and much of that I attribute to people that went before me, the way that I understand my world is I have to return those favors to other people. So King brought me many benefits, but also has given me my own challenges and my own destiny in many ways of making sure that I return those favors.
And he, along with our parents, have given us the strength to go against that which is wrong and stand up and do the right thing. That we find that it's important that we live the strength of our convictions. That is key so that we can move forward and not be daunted by things that don't work right, but know that we've got to find a way. We owe it to ourselves and our community and the world at large to find a way to communicate and make it happen the way he lived his life.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, gentlemen. Pastor Wheatfall for taking time to be here, and Dr. Mason for coming to join us here on this 25th silver anniversary of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King.